It is good to see you. Round up homies, thank you for joining us. I like to hang out with people that are smarter, been in the business, richer, and they do things a little differently than I do. So that's why we hang out with Dan Borrero on Sundays. How you doing, buddy?
I wouldn't say smarter or richer, brother. Come on. You know better than
Man.
that.
How was your week, brother? Real estate, anything exciting going on this week, brother?
As usual, brother. Just do you it's funny. Does your week ever go according to plan?
Never.
Never. Right? Even when you account for even when you make appointments with contractors or plumbers or electricians and you felt so this week I plan to be at this one property all day. I had
Every day?
No, for one day, I had two different inspections scheduled. I had a boiler inspection that I have to get done for the city requirements. I had a sprinkler system inspection that I have to get done for New York City requirements and the
Damn.
fire department requirement.
Wow.
Um, and
Holy.
and I have to get a gas line inspection done too, also for the buildings department, the city of New York. You got to get that done, and it's got to be written off by licensed, certified people that do this.
Mhm.
So I scheduled that a week ago. Oh, and by the way, none of these are cheap. None of them are cheap.
Yeah.
Between all three inspections that I got to pay these people, it comes out to about almost $2,800, right?
Mhm.
Do you know only two of them showed up?
Mm.
Only
Did they
two of them
give you
showed up.
did they give you a window for the time that they're coming and a
Yeah,
window for the
they give
dates
you a
too?
3 hour window. Yes.
You gotta sit
And,
there holding your you
well,
gotta
not
sit
really,
there.
because I scheduled other work since I know I'm going to be there. I got to, so I had, I had one tenant, two tenants with some minor issues. One faucet leaking. Another one, the door hinge had to be repaired. Bullshit stuff. So I scheduled one of my guys to be there all day, doing all these
Mm.
bullshit little things around the building. And then whatever time was left, I'd have him clean the yard or the alleyway, whatever, right? And I'd be there in case he needed to go any material. I'd go get it. If he needed a piece or a part or a tool, not a problem. But now I got to get rescheduled for those two inspections again.
Mhm.
But the point is, I made the best of what I was doing, because then there was another job I was thinking of wanting to do, and I guess what? I started doing it while I was there waiting, because my day was already killed. But the
Mhm.
point was, you and I, entrepreneurs in general, we don't let someone else's inefficiency screw us up, and we don't bitch
Yeah.
about it. We figure it out. We try to maximize the opportunity. Even though we're a deficit in time at that point, but you try to do
Mhm.
the best you can, because you could bitch about it, but it's not going to fix anything.
Ain't gonna change nothing. So y'all, we come on here to answer your questions. You've got almost 50 years of real estate investing experience here. We're happy to answer any question that you have. I see E Bellamy. What up, homie? Please put your question in the chat. We would love to help you, just guide you. Any information that we can share. Dan manages rental property, renovates property, buys, sells land, all this stuff. So get your questions in the chat, y'all.
Chris, this is a question for you. It says from Real Caesar Suarez. Hi
Hey,
guys, I was asking earlier, what was the tenant building in the back of the property? The one you did the eviction. It's Caesar Dan. How are you? Question mark.
hey,
I'm doing
Caesar.
great, Caesar. Thank you.
What was the building in the back? Oh, that used to be a sunroom, believe it or not. So I had I don't know if I told you then, the guy ripped off my sunroom, man. It was nicely, what is that stuff? It was nicely screened in, had a ceiling on top of it, nice roof, man. It was just kick ass sunroom. And the guy, he thought, Caesar, he was going to add an addition back there. And I think when he got into it, my thing is I knew it was going to cost $60,000 from the top.
That's what
And
it's going to cost you to fix, Chris.
I thought it was going to be 60 to add that room on.
And
You
what
gotta,
about now?
oh, now to fix it, being that I got the RV out and a lot of the wood's gone, probably about 3 grand just to get rid of all the wood. I'm gonna just lease option it out. I'm not gonna do no repairs to it. Whoever buys it can do all that stuff. I'm just getting rid of the debris that the guy left.
So you're creating a blank canvas You're cleaning everything up so people could come in and visualize what they could do, and then they could do it themselves because of the way you're selling it.
Yeah, they come in and do it. So right now it is kind of hard. I mean, it's got so much wood on there. I mean, it's probably got 3 dumpsters full of lumber on there, and yeah. But either way, I pay a guy, put it in a dumpster, it all be
Would you
gone.
try putting that on Let It Go or on Facebook Marketplace to see if people would take it?
I did. Yep, I had 2 guys come get 2 truckloads of wood already. But a lot of it's rotten because the guy had it out there for so long. But that used to be to answer your question, Caesar, that used to be a sunroom, my brother.
Oh, so this is Caesar who's asking this question. The guy who does our videos when we do our
Oh
luncheons.
yeah, hey Caesar. So I gotta tell y'all too, anybody that's watched that video, I blame myself. One of the things being an entrepreneur that you must get over is everything is your fault. Everything. I don't care
Everything.
if Dan was saying earlier he has to change brake locks. I don't care if you got to get an inspection. I don't care if you got somebody that ripped off your sunroom, put an RV in. Everything's your fault because you should have went in there and handled it. Dan, what do you say to
Absolutely.
that?
I agree with you 110. So I just got into I just got into an argument this week with someone that works for me, one of my managers, and I went to Florida to figure out. I was in Florida last month to figure out one, why do I have 5 empty doors,
Ooh,
and two, why is each door taking 3 weeks to turn over, and I'm
3
losing
weeks.
another month. That's right.
3 weeks. That ain't bad. Paint. What are you doing? What has to be done? Paint.
Painting, cleaning, whatever minor repairs it is, and it's out the door. You
That's a
know,
week
I
then for
that's a week.
painting, carpet, what doors, hinges, clean windows, whatever.
Whatever, changing blinds, changing the toilet seats. I
Yeah, that's
change
a week.
for every
That's a
apartment that
week.
I always change the blinds in Florida. I always change the toilet seat. I always change the shower head. Um, I check the faucets. I check we have a punch list, guys, that everything has to be checked, and I get pictures too. I make sure that all the sinks have this, bathroom sinks or the bathroom tub or shower has a stopper on it, right? Make sure that the inside of the medicine cabinet's always clean. Every light bulb has to be turned on, and make sure that it has every smoke and carbon monoxide detector has new batteries in it. The AC filter's new. There's a list that everyone and it's a common thing. All the dry events have to get cleaned out, because that could cause a fire, guys, if
No
you don't
doubt.
clean your dry events, right? Not
Yeah.
only that, the dry doesn't work efficiently if it has too much lint in the venting. So, we have an entire list that they have to go through, and these are usually 1 bedroom apartments. The most 2 bedroom apartments. I don't have any 3 bedroom apartments. I stay away from them because it encourages large families with kids. So I don't want to have that, right? So it should take no more than a week, and I'm coming to, like I said, I need to get out there and figure this out. But one of the common denominators, right, is my manager's complaining about my contractors. My contractors are telling me, but this guy didn't call me. I don't know why you're mad at me. I didn't know that door was ready for me to do. You know, or like I had one guy, there was a outside closet door that had blown off during one of the storms that we had, and I get a call from the HOA, and they're telling me, listen, this door has been on the side of the house from the building now a month already. What's going on? I says, I thought, let me get on top of this. You're right.
Yeah, get your
And
butt
then
down there.
I get there and the door's up. And I'm like, all right, now I have my 2 contractors and my manager. So who put the door up? Because I don't have an invoice. I don't have pictures. I don't have the cost of the material from Home Depot.
Hmm.
Who put the door up? Oh, we don't know.
Something's
But
fishy.
meanwhile, the manager was telling me that the guy Julio had already got it done. So I'm like, well, Julio's like, yo, he never called me on this.
That's
So
weird.
who's the common denominator with the
Property
problem?
manager.
The
Property
manager.
manager.
Well, guess who's not there anymore? The manager. Now I had a door that just became available, and on literally on Friday, they moved out on Friday, and I just got a call tonight from the contractor. Please send the expediter to take the pictures so I can get paid. I spent 2 days in here,
Mm.
right? But I was on I was on Julio's case. I said, listen, they're moving out. They're giving me the key. They're gonna, they're putting the keys in the lockbox at 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday. Make sure you're there with your men and your tools to get that done. So he was there all day Friday. He was there all day Saturday. He was there half a day today, and he got it done. But guess what? I was on the phone with him literally 3 weeks before I knew the tenant was going to leave. Put me on the schedule. I was on the phone with him the night before. I was on the phone with him the morning of. I was on the phone with him at that afternoon. Send me pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a live video.
Oh man.
Same thing on Saturday. Same thing this morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. Unit's
Wow.
done. That's ready to start showing come tomorrow morning.
You're a monster, Dan.
So it's not being the monster. The point is, I had 5 doors empty, and it was taking me 3 to 4 weeks to turn over doors because I wasn't doing my job. I got comfortable.
That's right. You gotta be
Because
on it.
I didn't get on a plane and go kick ass sooner.
Not everybody can do that, man, but you're right, Dan. It's unbelievable how much your presence will get things done, isn't it?
Oh my God. And the other thing I'm going to tell people to do, this is a real good, it's not even a hack or a secret, it's just a reality. When you're going to go to your job sites, don't ever let them know you're coming.
Oh no.
Never.
Don't let them know. Why not, Dan? Tell them.
Come in quiet. Because that's what you're going to see if they're sitting around, if they're trying to take shortcuts, if they're
See,
screaming and
you got
cursing.
guys. You got guys about an hour too, right?
I got them by the day. Some of the guys are by the day. Some of my guys on payroll by the day. Yeah.
So today they could still. I mean, I'm not saying that they are, but that could be the possibility of working a little slower than a guy by the job.
Yeah. So, and of course, even if they're by the job, it's irrelevant, right? Because at the end of the day, the longer they're on that job, the less money you're
Less
making
money they
because
make.
that door's not renting. So if the door's not rentable, you're not making money.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Eric Bellamy, we got some questions. Eleanor, what up, homie? Caesar, William. Hey, what's going on, Paris? What did I do with the RV? Hey, root. What's that root word? What did I do with the RV? The whole place was a head shaker. Yeah. Well, the RV. It's so funny you ask. So the guy came today to take it, and I put it on. Well, let me rewind. We talked about this on IG. So I thought I was gonna have to pay to get it removed because Dan, did you know the dump junkyards don't take RVs?
They don't.
You can't take them over there, man. You got to pay.
I believe.
So I
That I
was
believe.
talking to my mentors and my trusted advisors. They're like, man, you got to pay. That thing weighs 10,000 pounds. So anyway, I put it on Facebook Marketplace. I probably got 150 calls. Well, I didn't even put the address on there. 150 messages. Dan, did you know people wanted to live in this thing, dog? Dan, people are hurting out here. I had one lady call me. She says, I got to get this for my son. Like, what? Did you see the pictures of this? I'm asking the lady, like, did you see the picture? The shit doesn't even have windows. I'm like, what? Dan, what is going on, man? People are struck.
Look, the reality is what's garbage for me and you may necessarily be an asset for
That's
somebody else, right?
that's true.
So
That's true.
everyone's in a different position. There's a question here. Dan, would you do the same remodel in Florida that you do in New York because of the rents are lower? Absolutely, I would, depending on the return, right? Remember that, yeah, the rents are lower, but so is my labor costs are lower too. So the same remodel that I would do here for 60,000 would probably cost me 40,000 in Florida because in New York we live in a right to work state where the prevailing wage is set by union wages.
Oh God.
Whereas whether they're unionized or not on the job site, whether now in Florida it's a right to work state, so it's a lot more competitive for labor.
Hold up. You just said New York was the right to work state.
No, Florida's a right to work state. New York is what they call a union state, meaning that
Union state.
the unions have a very strong hold in the state of New York, and as a result of that, the unions increase the cost of labor across the board, whether the people are unionized or not. We have to compete against those wages. Now, on my guys like electrician, is they getting $150 an hour the way they would in the union? No, they may be getting $40 an hour, $50 an hour. So now when there might be some union electricians here, guys, and they're gonna say we don't get $150 an hour. You do. When you figure in that that the contractor has to put so much into your A fund for your pension, so much into your B fund for when you get laid off. And there's all these other
Workman's
funds that they got
comp.
to pay into, right? It comes out to $150 an hour.
Wow, man. Who can afford that, Dan? That is sickening.
It is sickening, and that's why it's so expensive to live. One of the reasons why it's not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons why it's so expensive to live in the city of New York.
Y'all, get your questions in, y'all, for Dan Borrero, and make sure you hit that like button, smash that thumbs up for me and Dan if we're bringing you any value today.
Yeah. So my brother's on here and he writes, Facebook Marketplace is the best place to get rid of everything that costs money to dump. Yes, it does. And my brother's talking from experience because that's what we do. We get houses left with garbage, like people's personal items. We just start clicking pictures, put it on Facebook Marketplace for free,
That
and
stuff
it's
be
gone.
gone. That stuff be
Gone.
gone. I
Either
know.
that or another app called Let It Go.
Yeah.
Or you can put it on Craigslist. I mean, there's so many different locations you could put this on and it'll be gone. So you save yourself the money on labor and you save yourself the money on the dumpster.
It's amazing, man. People show up, they're ready to work, and I thought I was going to have to move the wood. He moved, at least two huge, half a dumpster full of wood for me that I didn't even want to move.
So get your questions in, guys, because
Questions is
Chris
how we
and I
get
are
out
going to
here.
call it a
Yeah.
night. We're
We're done.
pretty much
Sub
done.
2. Somebody wants to do sub 2. Send us an email. You need to start root words. You got to start with my sub 2 training. If you send my team an email at chrisbuyshouses@gmail, we'll get you that training. So get started there. All right, Dan. Good talking to you, buddy. Anything else you want to talk to people about?
No,
How's
I'm
the
good
market,
talking
man?
to you.
I just sold a house above asking still. How's your market where you're at? You selling stuff still?
Stuff is still selling. It's not selling as quickly as it was. It's not getting into multiple, bids. People are actually now, they're not really arguing about the price versus they're asking for sellers concessions like us to pay part of their closing costs, or they're actually asking us to make repairs. Where like a year ago it was like it's as is
Ain't doing
and
nothing.
it's going above asking whether you like it or not,
But
right?
you want me? I feel like you want me to do something. What? When we do a repair?
Yeah, okay. No
Get
problem.
out of here.
Get out of here. I got 6 other offers right behind you.
You want to do what?
Yeah. Now it's like it's getting it's not too normal yet, but it's getting there. It's getting
The
close
one
to
we
the normal.
just sold, a lady did no repairs, no home inspection, above asking. It's still, I just think it's no inventory yet. But I did want to ask you, though, Dan, before I let you go. I went to look at a house yesterday. Man, I walk in the house, right? And I don't know. She could be watching. They could be watching now. I'm just empathetic. Just for, I take my daughter with me now. She's 14. She sees just different things. Thank you so much, Real Caesar. I appreciate your love offering, brother. She sees how other people live. Long story, man. So we walk her through it. We go in one of the rooms in the back, Dan. You know how those houses where you walk and then the floor just goes like this?
Yeah. It's got a dip.
I'm like, what is going on? Then I'm walking through this thing and the lady's like, I'm just going to renovate. If I can't sell it, I'm going to renovate it. In my mind, I'm thinking, it's a tear down. This thing got to go, Dan. I just want to ask you, how often do you have to tear things down, or do you ever have to tear them down?
So I don't like buying anything I got to tear down.
Why not?
It's not the business I'm in. I don't want to be on that side of the business. Now, I know a lot of guys that wouldn't buy what I buy because they rather do tear downs and build from scratch. So I think
it's different.
What works for me doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for everyone else, and vice versa, right? I stay in my lane and I do what I like to do best, which is full gut rehabs. I like
Hmm.
to do that.
Sometimes
If
you can't, so you walk away if it's too bad.
I wouldn't say I walk away either, because sometimes I'll find something like that, but I know people that like that type of property, and I'll try to wholesale it out and make some money out of it.
So you ain't gonna do it then.
But I'm not going to take it off of myself. No.
So when those floors go down, let me ask you, see, I see a question. When you got a house comes in and the floors go down, Dan, and you got let's say you got a 12-inch crawl. You ever dealt with anything like that?
Yeah, what happens is that the moisture from the crawl space below usually rot outs those 2x12s or those.
Because it's so thin of a crawl. Yeah, look
Correct.
at this. This guy,
Yeah.
this guy
Yeah.
knows.
So the only way to know, if it's the foundation or you just have to replace a couple of 2x12s is you got to crawl underneath that crawl space and get in there with a flashlight and determine, what the real problem is. Most
But
of the
you
time
can't.
it's not a big problem.
Yeah, but Dan, you can't crawl under a 12-inch crawl space. If the crawl space is this tall, the 2x4s are 10 inches. You ain't got no space to crawl
Okay, well, if you got no space to crawl, then you got to find an opening somewhere and try to get in and try to visualize it or use a camera.
from up top.
Yeah, you could do it that way too. But the way I look at it is that's fine, because then what happens is if I got to rip up the floor to fix that 2x10 or that 2x12, right? Well, I have the floor ripped up. I'm
Do
now
the
going
whole
to
thing.
throw what I probably will do is throw a 3-inch cement base on that to cover that dirt to stop the
Mm,
moisture from coming up. And now
I
when I
got
put up those 2x10s, that's going to stay there for the next 30 years without ever having any problem.
That's true. You almost got a raised slab almost.
Right.
That's a good
Yeah.
stuff, y'all. Wow, Dan. You know what? You're a beast for that one.
Yeah, but
You're a beast. I didn't know you could do that.
yeah. Listen, guys, and what I try to tell everybody is, even if you're going to flip the property, do the right job, because your name, your brand is attached
That's
to that
right.
property,
That's right. You better
right? So do the right job. Plus, it's going to come up in an inspection.
just do it right.
Just do it right from the beginning.
Quick questions, Dan. Where do you see the economy going? And best way to find a builder?
Man, let me tell you, the builder, you should answer that because you're doing your
I
house
can
now.
do that one. Yeah,
But
I
the
can sure do that.
economy, I did a live today while I was on my treadmill. I don't know, man. This economy is so ass backwards from what I learned in college.
Crazy, right?
So the inflation rate is still high. It's getting under control, but it's getting under control because the interest rates went up, right? So normally when the interest rates go up, it's because the government wants to slow down the economy to slow down to get the inflation rate back under control. But in this particular case, it's just happening. What's happening is we've got the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years.
Yeah, but I just think that's some BS, Dan. Because just because you work at McDonald's or you work at Wendy's, don't mean you employed.
It's regardless, brother, because it was the same scale. They came out with the same. They used the same metrics 50 years ago as they use today. It wasn't about whether it was prevailing wage or was it whether it was minimal wage. But the point is that we got the lowest unemployment rate. On top of that, the retail stores just reported a high that they've increased sales from the same time last quarter by
What?
almost 20%. So you got people working, you got people still buying merchandise, and you got people still buying houses. Now, in some parts of the country, the the closings have gotten reduced as much as 17%, meaning there's 17% less closings throughout the country.
Hmm.
But you got areas like New York and New Jersey and Florida that's
It's
not
just crazy.
experiencing that,
Virginia Beach
right?
either. It's crazy here.
Right. So the point is, I don't really know where this economy is going. I think the interest rates are going to have to go up at least another probably 2 more points before it starts to slow down. Because as long as unemployment level still stays low, people are still going to spend money.
Yeah. All right. So Builder, Paris, Wilson and Wilson. What I've learned, this is the first time, and I want to let everybody know, if you don't know exactly what you want when you build your personal house, don't do it. Don't do it. Dan, could you imagine you're an investor. You have to worry about every door swing, every size room, every window placement, every light fixture placement, every outlet. I'm like, I don't have time to think about. I don't want to think about this. It's like we go in there. We're like, wherever the hell it's at, we're gonna fix it and keep it going. It's like you building your own house, dude. Do I want the door? Do I want to swing that way? Do I want to? I mean, it's so much mess. So if you're building a property for spec home like we do, or for investment, always go to MLS, see who's already building. If you don't have anybody, go visit them, because just because you're a builder, I promise you, doesn't mean they're gonna build it right. And when I say build it right, they can build it to code. But I'm telling y'all, dog, you go in a room and the light switch is behind, you open the door this way and the light switch is behind the door. All that stuff's gonna pass code. That stuff's gonna pass. Just because the pad meets code doesn't mean they're gonna build it right, dude. Dan, you've been in a house where you open the door and the damn light switches behind the door.
Listen, you know what, man? It's like, I don't know about that's now, but I always know when I'm in a house that was built in the 80s, besides the style. If I didn't know what the style was, I wouldn't, let's say, I would still know if it was built in the 80s and 90s. Because what the contractors would do is they put a
The
light
light
switch,
switch
but only for
for the
lamps,
fan. I mean, for the yeah, I
not
can't
on the ceiling.
stand
That
that.
because
I
that's
can't
extra.
stand it.
And I'd be like, that's such bullshit, right?
$80. Not
Exactly.
even. Not even really. I
Not
mean,
even.
Romex is what? It'd be $12 in Romex.
So where you're at, you can use Romex. In New York City, you could only use BX,
Oh
right?
wow,
Which is a little bit more expensive, but still, it doesn't add that much more to it. The
20
point is,
bucks.
there's this book. If you guys read the Millionaire Mind, there's a reason why most rich people, not all, and when I say rich, I mean self-made rich, like people that took years to become wealthy. And there's a reason why most lawyers don't build their own houses. You know what that is?
Mm-mm.
The time that it consumes.
Yeah, it's
The
time
time that
consuming,
it
dog.
consumes while you're building your house. You can't spend that time making money.
The
In
mental
case of
capacity.
point, Chris Haskins, you're building your house right now. How much was it? Did you know it was going to take us the time that it's taking?
A year and December, January, February, March. It's taking me 12, 13, 14, 15 months. And I'm like, I'm a damn builder. I mean, it's what I do. I thought it was going
What
to be done
about
in
the
6
time that
months.
it's consuming? Because of all the minor details that you want to make sure you get right. So if you think about all the hours that you spent
Oh my God.
doing that, and you had spent the same amount of hours doing what we do best, how much
Oh
money did
my,
it cost you?
several hundred thousand, man.
Right. So
Several
it's
hundred
not just
thousand.
the money that it cost you to build that house. It's the money that you lost as a result of spending the time building that house.
The only thing that helps me sleep at night, Dan, is I had to get some for my family. Right. So it kind of helps me get over that hump. But yeah, you're right. I have to. I have to. I'm in therapy too. My therapist is like, Chris, you gotta stop looking at everything as a dollar, right? Which is we've been trained to do that. I gotta look, at just a different Maslow's hierarchy. I gotta look at family, money, shelter. Just gotta look at things from a different lens, Dan. But you're right, man. I can't go live as much as I want. I can't go look at houses. I can't raise money. Just to commute, to go back and forth. And, Dan, when you show up, you know how it is. I'm like, why is the light switch? I'm looking. I'm like, why are the grout lines? So let me tell you. I know we gotta go. We built it. You know how new houses you got the room for the toilet. It's like got his own room, right? It's a little like a little closet, whatever. So it doesn't. I'm looking at the floor. I'm like, fuck. Why is the back of the toilet room the towel cut 3 inches, but in the front it's an inch and a half? This shit's out of square. My toilet room's out of square. So I had to talk with the guy the other day. He goes, "We'll have to rip the sheetrock out and change the wood, man. You're right. It's out of square." I mean, just They, you can't see this stuff until the floor tiles in, dog.
You can't. There's Wilson. It says the reason for my question is that I had inherited several acres of land
Okay.
and want to see the different avenues for development. Well,
Oh man.
if it's acreage of lands, you're probably gonna have. Well, that's a big job
Yeah,
because
that
now
is.
you got to get a civil engineer involved.
Yep.
He's got to draw the plans out and then
Well,
submit them to the
hold
county,
up. But
sometimes
forget the
even to the
plans.
state.
Hold up, Dan. Before you get to the plans, you got to deal with the infrastructure: water,
That's the
sewer,
point.
curb,
The
and
civil
gutter.
engineer, yeah, the curbs, the sidewalks,
That's
where the
before the
water flow is going to
plans.
go to, the
That's
light.
way, drainage. That's way before you got any type of building out there. Shit, you got a year before you get that right.
You got a year before you even get the plans approved to get it done right to be approved. Then another year probably to get it done, depending on how big it is.
Don't do it. Only way I would do any development, I would partner with somebody. I wouldn't want to take on that. Because see,
Yeah,
these dudes,
partner with
Paris,
somebody that's done it.
these dudes got the connections they can call, and the infrastructure has to be done by certain approved contractors. Not everybody they're gonna let do it.
No,
They ain't let do it.
no,
I've
that's
been
big
there.
work. That's like heavy equipment work. But Chris, I'm gonna
All
go,
right,
man,
man. Yeah,
because
me too. I'll see y'all soon. I love you guys. Dan, make sure you subscribe to you. Is it USA Land Ventures on YouTube?
USA Land Ventures on YouTube. Subscribe to it. It's right here, guys.
Yeah.
I've been putting up a lot of shorts up there. It's funny. I get
Good.
more views on my shorts than I do my actual videos. I am starting a new series. I've got my Golden Nugget series, which is anywhere between 3 to 4 minutes.
Sweet.
But I'm starting a new series, Chris. Tenant versus landlord series.
Oh Lord. Oh yeah, that's my. You know, it's weird. I would tenant versus landlord. We should do some stuff together, man. All right, y'all. See
Take
you
care.
soon. Peace.
Bye bye.